Hello everyone and welcome back to another RC car vlog. Now today's video starts in my kitchen because I've got some repairs to do. This Traxxas Stampede took a bit of a beating in my last video.
There's a rollover! That's a horrendous looking roll and a very battered looking car.
And as a result it's a little bit limp, as you can see. So all that abuse resulted in the first mechanical failure, which was the shock absorber, the top cap just popped off on one of the jumps. Quite a common problem I've heard with the stock shocks. I actually expected with this Stampede 4x4, it's the XL5 version with the brushed motor, so I thought I've always thought the brushed motor would have been the first upgrade or repair I'd have to make, but it's not surprising really with all the jumps and things that I do with this thing that the shock absorber was the first thing to go. So it's lost the little diaphragm condom thing that fits inside the cap, so I thought I'd just go out and buy the big bore shocks. Now these a massive upgrade I've heard from the forums and things. They come with aluminium top caps as opposed to plastic, which is probably why these popped off. They've also got the progressive springs, however I think they're like rated for the Slash, which is a much lighter and smaller vehicle, so I might have to fasten these springs on, which they don't look quite as cool because they're not progressive, but I think what I'm going to do is I'll head up to the track after I've done this and I'll do a couple of runs, one with the progressive shocks, progressive springs, and one with the standard springs, and see how they compare. These do come with the standard Traxxas oil, which I think is 30 weight. However, reading the forums, some people recommend 40 weight, some people recommend 50 weight.
What are you feeling, Lance? 40 weight? 50 weight?
40 weight sounds nice.
So I've gone and ordered some 50 weight oil, which is 600 CST. I don't actually know what CST stands for, but it's the equivalent to 50 weight anyway. So task for today, get these old shocks off, get these new shocks on, and then go and have some fun. I've got to say, this looks pretty cool with no shocks, proper low rider. I've got to try this with the shell and just see what it looks like. Look at that, slammed. I bet the Stampede would actually look pretty cool as a road going truck. We'll have to do that one day. So this is a standard Traxxas shock, and this is one of the upgraded big bore shocks. You can see a slight difference in them. There's the bottom ends are still plastic, that's identical to about there. You've got a little bump stop on the upgraded ones. These progressive springs that I've talked about, I'll take them off in a minute and compare them, see how much difference I can feel just by squashing them under finger preload. They both come with the same, I think it's an 8mm preload spacer. Then the main difference is the whole top end is aluminium on the big bores, whereas it's plastic on the standard ones. So I mean, these don't come with oil, so it's no good testing them, squishing them, because you don't get the full effect. I've popped the spring off by accident, so I'll take that off now anyway. So I'll take that bottom cap off. I mean, that's just some of these. They look a bit. That looks a bit bent anyway, so I think I'm due for an upgrade. So we've got the standard spring and the progressive spring. Obviously, you can see straight away there's a size difference. So I might put them on just to check the ride height difference. Woo! Woo! Right, so they're ready to go back onto the vehicle. Now, next decision to make is which holes to use to determine the type of driving I tend to do. Now, if I remember right, for big jumps and things, the more vertical the shock goes, the better, so it can easily go through all its travel, so which means it'd be the outboard ones at the top and the inboard ones at the bottom. Originally, it was on the second one, and the middle ones on both, so just in between. So I think I'll I'll go for full-on verticality. Right, there we go, new shocks installed. I've used the middle, the second setting on the bottom, the outward ones on all the tops, and the inward ones on the two fronts. Feels stiff enough, so let's get the shell on and head up to the track and give it a good test out. Right, so I'm up at the track ready to give this a test run. I've taken the back 8mm spaces out of this just to try and even it out a bit, but it's looking good. Let's see how it performs. Now, thinking about it, actually, I probably won't be able to tell because I've not only have I changed the shocks, I've also gone and changed the entire shock geometry and alignment. So I'll not actually know whether it's the change in the shock position or the actual new oil or what that's making a difference. But I'll give it a go anyway. I'm losing light, it's like the end of the day, so hopefully I'll have enough time to play. This front one's definitely seeming a lot softer. Oh, can't see where I'm going. It's all getting overgrown, look at it, it's like a forest. Well, I can tell for starters the front ones are definitely a lot softer. I might have to alter that angle, make angle them out a bit more. That might give the impression of being firmed up a bit. These front shocks are definitely too soft. It's affecting steering and everything. Oh, yeah, it's bottoming out on those. I could tackle them easy before. I'll go and try and adjust them. I've brought my tools with me. Yeah, they seem way too soft. Sure I didn't bring any preload spaces with me. Let's set them inboard a bit. Look at that, it's not even rebounding. Let's see if we can change these bottom ones as well. Let's try and line this up. Let's try one extreme to other. I think the rear's pretty much sorted though. That seems alright. I think the verdict is probably need some stronger springs now, unless I drop the oil weight, but then it might not perform quite as well on those big jumps, but I guess I could try oil weight next. Right, let's give that a quick try. So now we've got fronts on quite an angle and backs on pretty much vertical. Let's stick my lid back on. Sort of messing about, my fingers are too cold for all this. Now I bet this soft front end setting will work a lot better on these S's, because it actually corners a lot easier. Oh no, don't tip. Oh. So verdict, this softer front end's definitely sharpened up its cornering abilities, but it's a bit too soft for this track. It keeps bottoming out, digging in, flipping over. I'll cut this video now. I'll go back and have a play around with that shock oil again, and then I'll see you in the morning, and we'll have round 2 up here at the track. Right, good morning everyone, we're back for round 2 up at the track. Now last night I went back and messed about with this a bit more. I've replaced those springs with those progressive ones that came with these shocks, and I've put the 8mm spring preload clips on the front, as well as realigning those fronts to the middle holes, front and top and bottom. I left the rear ones at the innermost. Actually, I think that's the second hole at the bottom and the outermost one at the top. But the problem last night was it was sagging too much on the front. So I was going to change the oil, but I thought I'll try the spring preload first. I originally went with the instructions on these Traxxas big bore shocks, where it says 8mm spacer in the rear and none in the front, but I think this 8mm spacer on the front as well will increase that spring tension and balance it out nicely. It's no longer looking like a monster truck raked like that. So we'll see how this goes. Right, so let's give it a try on these jumps. We can tell immediately the spring tension on the front's changed the handle, and it's not quite sharp, but at least it doesn't bog down and dig in and squat too much on those corners like it did last night. It still bottoms out over those jumps, but you can't expect otherwise with these massive things. Whoa! I think I've found a nice balance now. Anyway, it still handles pretty well on these flat sections. It bottoms out on the big jumps, but I'm guessing if I replace the oil back down to something thinner, it's only going to bottom out more. So I think I've just about got it how I want it. So let's have a play now. Now actually these two logs are a good test, because yesterday it was bottoming out as it hit those, whereas I remember it didn't used to. That's better. It's not hitting that chassis anymore on these logs. Yeah, it's a lot better. Right, well, I think those two simple spring clips on the front have been a success. See, it landed that jump pretty well. I mean, you want it to bottom out a little bit so it doesn't end up blowing suspension up. So I'm going to continue having a play, and I'll see you all in the next one.